NBC's chief White House correspondent, Hallie Jackson, now joins us. If you listen to that call, Hallie, I know you have, there is a lot to unpack there in terms of unfounded claims, conspiracy theories, so we're going to let you have at it. But first of all, just the basic fact, Hallie, the votes in Georgia were counted and recounted again, in some cases by hand, and that Republican Secretary of State has said, I voted for Trump and I donated to his campaign.
There could not have been more scrutiny, Savannah, on specifically the vote count in Georgia. So you're right. The most important reality check here is about what the president said incorrectly about winning Georgia. To be clear, he did not win Georgia. He actually lost that state by nearly 12,000 votes. But beyond that, the president, as you note, also made a whole bunch of other claims, things that aren't true. Many of those claims rooted in conspiracy theories that have been, bouncing around the internet for a while here. For example, the president talked about the idea that he says 5,000 dead people voted in Georgia, that thousands of other people voted from out of state. The Georgia Secretary of State, again, a Republican, says only 2 ballots came from dead voters. Another official told the president on that call that on those out-of-state voters, those people lived in Georgia, moved to a different state, but then moved back to Georgia legitimately years ago. The president also claimed hundreds of thousands of ballots ended up dropped, in his words, mysteriously into voter rolls, referencing, it seems, those votes that were tallied up late on election night and after. That was not mysterious. Those were mail-in ballots that just take longer to count. That had been expected. Those ballots had been expected to mostly favor Joe Biden, since, remember, the president had been telling his supporters to vote in person. And President Trump also referenced so-called corruption with voting machines. His own administration officials said a week after the election that there was no evidence that any voting system lost or changed votes or was compromised, Savannah. So, yeah, you're right. Definitely a lot to unpack from that call.
Yeah, and I think one of those voting system companies is talking about suing for defamation because of those accusations. Also want to mention, now we're 2 days away from this official January 6th certification by Congress of the election. Normally this is a yawn. It's just something perfunctory that gets done. But now you've got a group of Republican senators wanting to challenge it and a group of Republicans who are saying, oh, no, that violates the tenets of our democracy. Walk us through what we expect.
And this is a little bit different, Savannah, because this is not just, for example, Democrats who will, often oppose the president coming out and being very concerned about this. These are members of the GOP as well. It's going to be extraordinary drama going down in Congress. You're right. It's typically on Wednesday, this very routine sort of rubber stamping of the election results. We wouldn't typically cover it in years past. We will this year because of these senators who plan to oppose Joe Biden's certification as the incoming president. You can see him on screen here. To be quite clear, those objections are going to fail. They will fail in both chambers, and that's because enough Republican senators have come out opposing those challenges that it is just a non-starter. But none of that, Savannah, is doing anything to alleviate those concerns from even members of the Republican Party who worry this sends a dangerous signal about the democratic process. Savannah?
Lots to unpack, Hallie. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Happy New Year.